Hello, my small explorers. It's Miss Carrie coming to you from the New Jersey State Museum Planetarium for another Small Explorers minisode. Have you ever looked out your window at night and tried to count the stars you can see from your window? If you're here in the city like Trenton, it's kind of hard because there's a lot of light pollution. That means all of the lights that are coming on from the city go up into the sky and bounce around on the particles that are up in our atmosphere, up in the air. And it scatters the light and makes it hard to see the stars. If you get a little further out from the city and the woods or out where their farms are, maybe up in Hunterdon County or way out in Pennsylvania, it's a lot darker and you're able to see the stars a lot more clearly. When we don't have that light pollution, we can see many, many more stars.
Hi explorers! So this week our sign language sign is for star. We need both hands, make two fists, and point up your pointer fingers. Now to make the sign for star, you're going to point your fingers, you're going to have your hands close together, you're going to point your fingers up and slide them next to each other. Star. Let's try that one more time. Star. So this week I have two related crafts for you. There's a version we're going to do with a camping lantern and a version we can do with a flashlight. We are going to make some constellation lanterns. So for this you will need either a lantern or a flashlight, some black paper. It can be, this is black drawing paper, but it can be black construction paper or black cardstock, whatever you have on hand. You're going to need a pencil and a white colored pencil or a white crayon, some tape, and if you're doing the flashlight version, you're going to need either a hair tie or a rubber band, whichever one you have around. You'll also need cardboard, a pair of scissors, and a grown-up to help you with the scissors. So our first step for both is to make sure our paper is going to fit around our lantern. This one doesn't fit all the way around, but I'm going to fill in that side with tape once I'm done. I do need to cut this in half. So what I'm going to do is fold this long ways. And cut it right along the line. This part we can definitely get our grown-ups to help us with. Now for the flashlight, this is going to cover the lit part of your flashlight. So what you're going to do is take your white colored pencil or your white crayon and trace the top of your flashlight, and then trace a bigger circle around that, and then cut out the bigger circle. I have a teeny tiny flashlight, so this one's going to be a teeny tiny lantern. This is the fun part for the both of these. This is where you're going to get to decide what stars you want to have in your lantern. So we can scatter a bunch of random stars like Coyote did. So here I'm going to You're going to use your white crayon or your white colored pencil to mark out where you want your stars to be. All right. So for my small lantern, I've been watching Miss Renee's videos from the planetarium on the constellations that we can see in the night sky. Let's see. So let's do the constellation Aries. There we go. So this will be my little 4-star constellation for my teeny tiny flashlight. All right. So our next step is to poke holes where we've placed all of our stars so that when we wrap it around our lantern or across our flashlight and turn it on, the light will shine through. And for that, you are going to need your cardboard and your pencil point. All you're going to do is stick your pencil point all the way through the paper and into the cardboard. See how I've got all these holes now? That's where the light for our stars are going to shine through. And before you do this, if you haven't seen Renee's planetarium videos, I would encourage you to take a look at them. That might help you decide what kind of constellations you want to put on this. All right, so there we go. I have my stars. All right. So for the lantern, I'm going to go ahead and grab some tape. This is painter's tape. It's not very, very strong, but it should do. You can also use masking tape or Scotch tape. Duct tape might be a bit much. So I'm going to wrap this. Wrap that around the lantern and bring my tape. My tape around, and be careful not to cover up any of your stars while you're attaching it to the lantern. There we go. So there's one. And then something else that you can do before you attach it, if you want to draw some lines and play connect the dots to mark out where the constellations on your lantern are. Or if you want to get really creative, if you're doing the Big Dipper or Ursa Major, the Big Bear, try and draw a bear around the constellation. You can do that too. Now for our flashlight, we're going to need to take our scissors again and cut a couple of slits between the outer circle and the inner circle. I'm going to try doing 4. All right, so you line your constellation up with your flashlight and start folding these parts down over the flashlight. take your hair tie or your rubber band and use that to secure it. All right, let's go somewhere dark and test this out.
Okay, small explorers, let's test out our lanterns. Now, I have a little extra light here. This is one of my extra flashlights that doesn't have a constellation filter on it. So I'm going to turn that off. And this, there we go. There is one of our constellation flashlights. See the light coming through? All right. Now it's really dark in here. There aren't any other lights on besides this, but if I turn on another light underneath of it, makes it a lot harder to see. And that's what happens when we have a lot of light pollution up in the sky like we do here in New Jersey. Like I said, when we were in the planetarium, the light bounces off all the particles in the atmosphere and scatters it, and it makes the stars that are further away much harder to see. So let's take a look at our other lantern. There we go. We have our stars shining through, and if I hold it closer to the wall, you can see the stars moving across the wall. All right. And I hope we get a clear night soon. If you are in an area where you can see more of the sky, I encourage you to step outside after sunset and do so. Happy stargazing. Thanks for watching, explorers. I will see you next week.